Hello everyone and welcome back to our final narrative session of the week. Today's date is Friday the 12th of June 2020. You're going to need a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper so that we can get started with our writing. This is going to be our last session looking at that key opening part of the Iron Man. Our Can I question for today is, can I use onomatopoeia effectively to show action in the story? So at the top of your page, make sure you've written today's date and our Can I question. Now, I'm going to read you part of the story and then explain where we're going to start writing. So, and his right foot, his enormous iron right foot, lifted up, out into space, and the Iron Man stepped forward off the cliff into nothingness. And you might remember from our story, we had crash. Now, that is an onomatopoeia, a word that sounds like what it is. Okay, a crash makes the sound of the verb of something crashing down. The first thing I'd like us to do is do some word collecting. So I'm going to play you some sound effects of metal objects, and I'd like you to write down some words to describe those sounds. So it might be crash, bash, clang. Listen carefully now and write them down on your paper. Okay, hopefully you got lots of words down for that. Let's have a look. Have you got as many as me? I've got clang, clank, tink, crash, bang, bish, bash, jingle, clink, ching, smash. Okay, now the second part we need to think about is doing some thesaurus thinking. Can we think of some other words for falling? Because this is the part where the Iron Man steps forwards off a cliff into the nothingness and he is crashing down the side of the cliff. So let's think. So let's add some words. What could we think of? Falling, tumbling. We could have crashing. We could have banging, tumbling, crashing, banging. What else could we have? Tumbling, crashing, banging. We could have toppling, toppling down. Okay, now we can put these sentences together. So let's have a think. We want 3 verb starters and 3 onomatopoeic words. Let's have a go then. So we want our 3 ing verbs first. Let's have toppling. I like that one. Toppling. Oh, too many P's. Toppling. Tumbling. Oh, I might have an extra one in here. Toppling, tumbling, stumbling. The Iron Man fell down the cliff. Now I'm going to have my onomatopoeic word, which are these ones here. What could I have? I might have smash, smash, smash. Then to repeat it again. Toppling, tumbling, stumbling. The Iron Man fell down the cliff. And this time I'm going to choose a different onomatopoeic word. Maybe I might have clank, clank, clank. Okay, there's an example for you. Now it's over to you. Can you write 3 sentences in this format, following along from one another? So remember to use your 3 ing verbs to start off with, and then your 3 onomatopoeic words. Good job, guys. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, your second challenge for today is just simply to listen. And as you are listening, make a note of any vocabulary you want to magpie to use in your writing. I'm going to read you the rest of the first chapter of The Iron Man, because on Monday we'll be starting to think about writing the build-up and the climax of our story. Off we go. Look at these amazing illustrations as well. Only one of the iron hands lying beside an old, sand-logged, washed-up seaman's boot waved its finger for a moment, like a crab on its back. Then it lay still, while the stars went on wheeling through the sky, and the wind went on tugging at the grass on the cliff top, and the sea went on boiling and booming. Nobody knew the Iron Man had fallen. Night passed. Just before dawn, as the darkness grew blue, and the shapes of the rocks separated from each other, 2 seagulls flew crying over the rocks. They landed on a patch of sand. They had 2 chicks in a nest on the cliff. Now they were searching for food. One of the seagulls flew up. Ark! He had seen something. He glided low over the sharp rocks. He landed and picked something up. Something shiny, round and hard. It was one of the Iron Man's eyes. He brought it back to his mate. They both looked at this strange thing, and the eye looked at them. It rolled from side to side, looking first at one gull, then at the other. The girls, peering at it, thought it was a strange kind of clam, peeping at them from its shell. Then the other gull flew up, wheeled around and landed and picked something up. Some awkward, heavy thing. The gull flew low and slowly, dragging the heavy thing. Finally, the gull dropped it beside the eye. This new thing had 5 legs. It moved. The gulls thought it was a strange kind of crab. They thought they had found a strange crab and a strange clam. They did not know they had found the Iron Man's eye and the Iron Man's right hand. But as soon as the eye and the hand got together, the eye looked at the hand. Its light glowed blue. The hand stood up on 3 fingers and its thumb, and craned its forefinger like a long nose. It felt around. It touched the eye. Gleefully, it picked up the eye and tucked it under its middle finger. The eye peered out between the forefinger and the thumb. Now the hand could see. It looked around. Then it darted and jabbed one of the girls with its stiffly held finger, then darted at the other and jabbed him. The 2 gulls flew up into the wind and with a frightened cry. Slowly, then, the hand crept over the stones, searching. It ran forward suddenly, grabbed something and tugged. But the thing was stuck between 2 rocks. The thing was one of the Iron Man's arms. At last the hand left the arm and went scuttling hither and thither among the rocks, till it stopped and touched something gently. This was the other hand. This new hand stood up and hooked its finger round the little finger of the hand with the eye and let itself be led. Now the 2 hands, the seeing one leading the blind one, walking on their fingertips, went back together to the arm, and together they tugged it free. The hand with the eye fastened itself onto the wrist of the arm. The arm stood up and walked on its hand. The other hand clung on behind as before, and this strange trio went searching. An eye! There it was, blinking at them speechlessly beside a black and white pebble. The seeing hand fitted the eye to the blind hand, and now both hands could see. They went running among the rocks. Soon they found a leg. They jumped on top of the leg, and the leg went hopping over the rocks with the arm swinging from the hand that clung to the top of the leg. The other hand clung on top of the hand. The two hands with their eyes guided the leg, twisting this way and that as a rider guides a horse. Soon they found another leg and another arm. Now each hand with an eye under its palm and an arm dangling from its wrist rode on a leg separately about the beach. Hop, hop, hop! They went, peering among the rocks. One found an ear, and at the same moment the other found the giant torso. Then the busy hands fitted the legs to the torso. Then they fitted the arms, each fitting the other, and the torso stood up with the legs and the arms, but no head. It walked about the beach, holding its eyes up in its hands, searching for its lost head. At last there was a head, eyeless, earless, nested in a heap of red seaweed. Now, in no time, the Iron Man had fitted his head back, and his eyes were in place, and everything was in place except for one ear. He strode about the beach, searching for his lost ear, as the sun rose over the sea and the day came. The two girls sat on their ledge, high on the cliff. They watched the immense man striding to and fro over the rocks below. Between them, on the nesting ledge, lay a great iron ear. The girls could not eat it. The baby girls could not eat it. There it lay on the high ledge. Far below, the Iron Man searched. At last he stopped and looked at the sea. Was he thinking the sea had stolen his ear? Perhaps he was thinking the sea had come up while he lay scattered and had gone down again with his ear. He walked towards the sea. He walked into the breakers, and there he stood for a while, the breakers bursting around his knees. Then he walked in, deeper, deeper, deeper. The gulls took off and glided down low over the great iron head that was now moving slowly out through the swell. The eyes blazed red, level with the wave tops, till a big wave covered them, and foam spouted over the top of the head. The head still moved out under the water. The eyes and the top of the head appeared for a moment in a hollow of the swell. Now the eyes were green. Then the sea covered them and the head. The girls circled low over the line of bubbles that went on moving slowly out into the deep sea. The Iron Man thought no one could see him. The Iron Man thought he was alone. The Iron Man was wrong. There was a boy, Hogarth, who had seen everything. Okay, so we've just been introduced to our second character. Next week we'll have a look at the build-up and see what Hogarth is going to do. Have a lovely weekend and well done for all of your hard work this week.